in all of those different competitions.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen some things canceled, some things moved indoors over the course of the evening. We haven't seen a lot of activity in Bell County, but we've had a lot of not reschedules, but some alterations made because of lightning primarily. We've had storms in Williamson County, Burnett County, Lampasas County throughout the evening. And remember, lightning can strike up to sometimes at least 20 to 25 miles away from parent storm. So that's why we've seen some of these alterations made to some of these outdoor planes primarily for lightning concerns. But at this time, what you'll notice for most of Central Texas, we're starting to see a general weakening trend with all the storms. And that stands true for all except for one storm right now, and that is the storm currently moving into Bell County from Burnett County. Now, this storm is basically moving due east. This severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 10:45. This storm really hasn't lost a whole lot of energy here either. We're still seeing a pretty well-defined hail core there right on the Burnett and Bell County line. Now, this storm, like I said, basically moving off to the east, but we've seen it take a little bit more of that right-hand turn that we see these storms sometimes take. So again, still moving off to the east, but maybe a little bit of a southerly component too. We'll have to keep an eye on it and see what happens over the next several scans. But again, primarily moving off to the east. So again, should cross I-35 there again towards Salado, potentially down towards Gerald. Again, we'll have to keep an eye on it to see what direction it decides it wants to go here over the next several scans. In terms of the hail core though, again, right on the Burnett-Bell County line. And again, we're seeing hail up to potentially $half sized within the core of this storm. So very large hail falling out of this storm as it continues to travel off to the east. So we'll keep an eye on that. Also, a little bit of a wind threat here. You can see some of these reds and greens. We always talk about that, meaning, maybe some mid-level, upper-level rotation. Nothing at the surface that would indicate tornadic activity. But again, when we see these brighter green shadings, maybe some 45, 50-mile-an-hour winds coming out of this storm. So that's what's going on there. Also, a little storm moving into Hamilton County, but even that one falling apart just a little bit. So how is it this storm is able to still kind of maintain and kind of hold together? Well, in Temple right now, it's still 84, still feels like 90. We still have a little bit of that heat and humidity at the surface, so that fuel is there to work with. Again, southeast winds at 13 miles per hour, keeping the humidity up. But for the most part, once we get to about 9:30, 10:30, and you saw some of the lightning on our tower cam, we start to see that cap reestablish overhead. And I know what you're thinking. If I say the word cap one more time, you're going to jump through the TV at me. I understand that. But again, we start to see that reestablish a little bit in the evenings, and that helps kind of bring some of this activity to an end, especially out here in these areas. We're seeing the 70s popping back into our temperature board there. But again, anywhere you still see those mid-80s, still some fuel there left to work with. In terms of what we expect over the next several hours, again, we should see all this move out to the east here by the time we get to about midnight, maybe 1 o'clock. And again, the severe weather threat really coming to an end there by about 11 or midnight. So that's what we're looking at there. And as far as that severe thunderstorm watch goes, again, we're starting to see some counties get shaved off, but still in effect through midnight for basically all of Central Texas. Now, what about tomorrow? Again, I've been talking about tomorrow, maybe better coverage tomorrow. Tonight, we only saw 4 or 5 storms, but tomorrow, more people could actually see that storm activity as it moves across from about 4 o'clock through about 10 o'clock, maybe lasting as late as midnight there on your Saturday night. So with that, we take the severe threat down just a little bit, but we're still looking at the possibility of those strong winds and that large hail with any storms that do develop for your Saturday. For Sunday, I still think most everything stays west and north. 1 storm or 2 storms may sneak down into Central Texas, but the chances are very low. Saturday being primarily our concern here, with a slight risk for severe weather for your Saturday afternoon. So we'll keep an eye on that. And again, stay with us on 6 News and on the 6 Plus streaming app for any live streams that may be necessary on your Saturday afternoon. After that, like I said, Sunday, it's a really low chance, only about 20%. We keep rain and thunderstorm chances actually in the forecast into Monday and Tuesday. And by Monday, we could be talking about another potential severe event. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But after Tuesday, we are going to see a little bit of a break, more dry air coming in, temperatures getting back a little bit closer to where they're supposed to be for this time of the year.